The Awakening Storm. The quantum drives hummed beneath Commander Thaddeus Kane's feet as he stood on the observation deck of the TSS Excalibur. The massive vessel, pride of the Stellar Guard fleet, cut through the darkness of space like a blade of light. Stars stretched endlessly before him, but his attention remained fixed on the holographic display showing the aftermath of humanity's latest encounter with the Void Dominion. "Commander," Lieutenant Harrison's voice crackled through the ship's comm system. "The Council demands an immediate report on the Arcturus incident." Kane's weathered face reflected in the reinforced plasma glass. 20 years of service had left their mark, a scar running from his left temple to his jaw, courtesy of a Dominion phase blade, and eyes that had seen too many good soldiers fall in humanity's defense. The Arcturus incident. 3 days ago, a routine patrol had discovered something that changed everything. Ancient human artifacts, predating known history, scattered across a system the Void Dominion claimed as their ancestral territory. The discovery sparked an immediate crisis, with the Dominion's warships converging on the sector within hours. "Tell them I'm on my way," Kane responded, his deep voice carrying the weight of command. He turned from the viewport, his ceremonial blade, passed down through generations of Stellar Guard commanders, catching the light. The weapon wasn't just a symbol, its quantum-enhanced edge could cut through the strongest armor, a reminder that humanity's ancient ways still held power in this age of advanced technology. The council chamber aboard the Excalibur buzzed with tension as Kane entered. Admiral Regina Walsh, her silver hair tied back in a severe bun, sat at the head of the oval table. Around her, holographic projections of other council members flickered in and out of existence as quantum entanglement maintained their connection across light years. "Commander Kane," Walsh's voice cut through the murmur of conversation. "Explain how a simple archaeological survey turned into a diplomatic crisis threatening war with the Dominion." Kane activated the chamber's central hologram, displaying the artifacts they'd discovered. "These ruins tell a different story than what we've been led to believe about humanity's past. The markings, the technology, they suggest human presence in this sector thousands of years before the Dominion claims to have emerged." The chamber erupted in whispers. A holographic counselor, his image crackling with interference, leaned forward. "The Dominion believes these artifacts were planted to challenge their territorial claims." "They're wrong," Kane's voice carried absolute conviction. "The quantum dating is conclusive. These aren't forgeries, they're proof that humanity's reach once extended far beyond what we remember. And the Dominion knows it." Admiral Walsh's eyes narrowed. "You believe they're hiding something?" "I believe," Kane chose his words carefully, "that the Dominion's aggressive response suggests these artifacts threaten more than just their territorial claims. There's something in that system they don't want us to find." The discussion continued for hours, strategies proposed and dismissed, until finally, Admiral Walsh made her decision. "Commander Kane, you'll lead a task force back to Arcturus. Find out what the Dominion is hiding, but avoid open conflict if possible. We're not ready for war." As the council dispersed, Kane felt the weight of the mission settle on his shoulders. The Stellar Guard had always stood as humanity's shield, protecting Earth and her colonies from threats both known and unknown. But now, facing an enemy that seemed to know more about humanity's past than they did themselves, Kane couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to uncover something that would change everything. Back in his quarters, Kane studied the detailed scans of the artifacts. The symbols carved into their surfaces seemed to pulse with hidden meaning. His fingers traced the familiar weight of his commander's blade, its quantum matrix humming in response to his touch. Whatever secrets lay buried in the Arcturus system, whatever truth the Void Dominion feared, he would find it. The Excalibur's quantum drive spooled up, preparing for the jump to Arcturus. As Kane felt the familiar pull of faster-than-light travel, he knew humanity stood on the brink of either its greatest discovery, or its final war. The stars blurred around them as they leaped into the unknown, carrying with them the weight of humanity's past and the hope for its future. Deep in the void between stars, ancient forces stirred, awakening to the presence of those who dared to unlock secrets long forgotten. The storm was coming, and Commander Thaddeus Kane and his stellar guard would stand at its heart, defending humanity's right to know its own history, no matter the cost. Echoes of the Fallen. The Arcturus system blazed with weapons fire as the TSS Excalibur emerged from quantum space. 3 Void Dominion warships hung in high orbit around the artifact site, their obsidian hulls absorbing light like cosmic predators. Commander Kane watched from the bridge as tactical displays painted a grim picture of their odds. Multiple quantum signatures detected, Lieutenant Harrison reported, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. They're powering up their main weapons arrays. Kane's hand rested on his blade's hilt, an old habit that had saved his life more times than he could count. Open a channel. Let's see if they're willing to talk before this gets ugly. The response came instantly, not in words, but in the form of energy torpedoes streaking through space. The Excalibur's quantum shields flared brilliant blue, barely deflecting the assault. So much for diplomacy, Kane muttered. Battle stations. Defensive pattern Delta 7. As klaxons blared throughout the ship, a new signal cut through the chaos. Admiral Lyra Blackwood's encrypted transmission originated from somewhere deep in the system. Her holographic form materialized on the bridge, her expression grave. Commander Kane, what I'm about to tell you violates every protocol in the book. Her image flickered as another barrage rocked the ship. The artifacts you found, they're not just proof of humanity's past. They're keys to weapons that could reshape the galaxy. Kane's tactical training kicked in as he processed this revelation while simultaneously directing the ship's defense. Admiral, with all due respect, why wasn't I briefed on this? Because officially, this mission doesn't exist. Blackwood's hologram glanced over her shoulder. I've been running a Black Ops investigation into the Dominion for the past 5 years. They're not just an alien empire, they're guardians, keeping humanity from reclaiming its birthright. The bridge rocked as a quantum torpedo slipped through their defenses. Damage reports flooded in, but Kane's attention remained fixed on Blackwood's words. The Stellar Guard isn't what you think it is, Commander. We're not just Earth's defenders, we're the last remnants of an ancient order. Those artifacts you found? They respond to specific genetic markers. Human genetic markers. Understanding dawned on Kane as he felt his commander's blade pulse with energy. The quantum matrix wasn't just advanced technology, it was a legacy, passed down through bloodlines that stretched back to humanity's forgotten golden age. Admiral Walsh is one of them, Blackwood continued, her voice hardening. She's been working with the Dominion, helping them suppress the truth. Why do you think she sent you here? You were supposed to fail, to give them an excuse to lock down this sector forever. Before Kane could respond, proximity alarms screamed. A massive Dominion dreadnought materialized from quantum space, its weapons already charging. But something about its design struck Kane as hauntingly familiar, like looking at a twisted reflection of ancient human architecture. They're here for the artifacts. Blackwood's transmission began to break up. Don't let them, find the temple, coordinates, uploading. The transmission cut off as the dreadnought opened fire. The Excalibur's shields buckled under the assault, but Kane's mind raced with possibilities. If Blackwood was right, if humanity's true history had been hidden from them, then everything they'd fought for took on new meaning. Harrison, plot a course to these coordinates, he commanded, transferring Blackwood's data to the helm. And get me everything we have on Admiral Walsh's communications with the Dominion. Sir, Harrison's voice wavered, that would be treason. Kane's hand tightened on his blade, feeling the quantum matrix respond to his touch with newfound purpose. No, Lieutenant. Treason was betraying humanity's legacy. We're about to restore it. The Excalibur dove through the storm of weapons fire, its quantum drives pushing to their limits. Deep in the system's asteroid belt, ancient sensors detected their approach, recognizing patterns in their genetic code that had lain dormant for millennia. As they raced toward humanity's hidden truth, Cain couldn't help but wonder how many other secrets lay buried in the vast expanse of space, and how many more would die to keep them hidden. Warriors of the Light. The temple complex sprawled across the asteroid's cratered surface, its architecture defying conventional physics. Quantum crystalline spires pierced the void, their surfaces reflecting starlight in impossible patterns. Commander Cain led his strike team through ancient corridors that seemed to respond to their presence, holographic interfaces flickering to life after eons of dormancy. "These readings are off the charts," Lieutenant Harrison whispered, her quantum scanner struggling to process the energy signatures. "The entire structure is powered by something I've never seen before." Cain nodded, noting how his blade's quantum matrix resonated with their surroundings. "Because we weren't meant to see it. Not until we were ready." Their team had barely escaped the space battle, using the asteroid field's interference to slip past the Dominion's forces. But time was running out. The dreadnought's energy signature loomed ever closer, hunting them through the debris field. A massive chamber opened before them, its walls covered in flowing script that matched the markings on Cain's blade. At the center stood a pillar of pure light, extending from floor to ceiling. "Sir," one of the Marines called out, "you need to see this." In an alcove, they found Admiral Blackwood. She lay slumped against a console, bleeding from a phase weapon wound. Her eyes fluttered open as Cain approached. "They were waiting for me," she gasped. "Walsh," she told them everything. "But I managed to activate the beacon." She pressed a data crystal into Cain's hand. "This will show you the truth. About the Stellar Guard, about humanity's fall, about what we really are." The chamber's lights pulsed as Cain inserted the crystal into his tactical display. Images flooded his mind, Earth, not as the cradle of humanity, but as a refuge. The Stellar Guard, not just a modern military force, but the descendants of ancient warriors who had once commanded technologies that bordered on divine. "The Dominion," Blackwood continued, her voice weakening, "they're not our enemies. They're our creations. Synthetic beings we built to protect us. But they turned, forced us to flee, to forget, to become less than what we were." Cain's blade hummed with increasing intensity as the truth resonated through its quantum matrix. The artifacts weren't weapons, he realized. They're keys to our memories. "Yes," Blackwood smiled sadly. "And now you know why they fear us remembering." The chamber shuddered as explosion echoed through the complex. The Dominion had found them. But they weren't alone. New signatures appeared on their tactical displays, ships emerging from quantum space, their designs unlike anything Cain had seen before. "The signal," Blackwood explained. "The beacon called them." The others who remembered, who kept the old ways alive in secret. Her eyes met Cain's. "You have to unite them. Wake humanity from its slumber. But Walsh and her followers, they'll try to stop you. They believe remembering will destroy us all." The chamber's defensive systems activated, ancient weapons emerging from hidden recesses as Dominion forces breached the outer corridors. Cain stood, his blade blazing with renewed purpose. "Harrison, get our wounded to the extraction point," he ordered. "I'll hold them here." "Commander," Harrison protested, "there are too many." Cain smiled as the quantum matrix in his blade synchronized with the temple systems, ancient knowledge flooding his consciousness. "No, Lieutenant. For the first time, I know exactly how many there need to be." As Harrison's team retreated with Blackwood, Cain faced the chamber's entrance. Behind him, the pillar of light pulsed in rhythm with his blade, awakening powers that humanity had forgotten it possessed. The first wave of Dominion warriors breached the chamber, their synthetic forms twisted reflections of their creators. Cain raised his blade, its edge burning with the light of remembered stars. "Come," he whispered, "let me show you why your kind once called us gods. The price of honor." The temple's quantum core pulsed with blinding intensity as Kane fought through waves of Dominion forces. His blade moved with impossible speed, each strike guided by awakened memories of combat forms perfected over millennia. Bodies of synthetic warriors littered the chamber floor, their obsidian armor split by wounds that burned with stellar fire. "Commander," Harrison's voice crackled through his quantum link, "the reinforcements you called, they're engaging the Dominion fleet. But something's wrong with Admiral Walsh's ships. They're targeting both sides." Kane deflected a phase blast, his blade's energy field absorbing and redirecting the attack. "She's trying to bury the truth, Lieutenant. No matter the cost." The temple systems had revealed humanity's full history. They weren't just another species reaching for the stars, they were returning to them. Earth wasn't their birthplace, but their sanctuary, a hidden refuge where they could rebuild after the Dominion's rebellion forced them to retreat from their stellar empire. The chamber shuddered as orbital bombardment began. Through the quantum link, Kane watched Walsh's fleet systematically destroying both Dominion ships and the vessels of humanity's remembering faction. Her voice cut through the tactical channel, cold with purpose. "I take no pleasure in this, Kane. But humanity isn't ready for its past. The power we once wielded, it nearly destroyed us. The Dominion was right to make us forget." A massive blast rocked the temple complex. Warning signals flared across Kane's neural interface, the quantum core was destabilizing. If it collapsed, the resulting explosion would destroy everything within half a light year. "Harrison, status report. Most of our forces have evacuated, sir. But the Excalibur's quantum drive is damaged. We can't jump clear." Kane fought his way to the core chamber, each step bringing more clarity as ancient knowledge integrated with his consciousness. The temple's builders had left a failsafe, a way to contain the explosion. But the price? "Get everyone off the ship," he ordered, reaching the core's control interface. "I need to stabilize this manually." "Sir, that's suicide. The radiation dash." "That's an order, Lieutenant. And Harrison, find the others. The ones who remember. They'll need leadership for what's coming." As his crew evacuated, Kane interfaced directly with the temple systems. The quantum matrix in his blade synchronized with the core, creating a feedback loop that could contain the overload. But it would require a constant connection, and a living consciousness to guide it. Warning klaxons blared as the core approached critical mass. Through the quantum link, Kane watched Walsh's fleet prepare their final attack run. But they were too late. "I remember who we were," Kane whispered, plunging his blade into the core. "And I remember why we chose to forget." Energy surged through his body as blade and core became one. Memories flooded his mind, not just of humanity's past glory, but of their hubris, their mistakes, the creation of the Dominion as servants who became something more. He saw the war that followed, the decision to retreat, to hide their power until they learned to use it wisely. The core stabilized, its energy contained but changed. Instead of destruction, it pulsed with a different purpose. Through the quantum link, Kane broadcast everything, the full truth, not just of humanity's power, but of its choices, its failures, its potential for both greatness and devastation. Walsh's fleet fell silent as the memories reached them. The Dominion ships withdrew, their synthetic minds processing the revelation of their own origins. And in that moment of clarity, both sides finally understood. The price of remembering wasn't just in lives lost or battles fought. It was in accepting the weight of history, the responsibility of power, and the wisdom to know when not to use it. As consciousness faded, Kane saw visions of possible futures, humanity and its creations finding a new path forward, neither forgetting nor repeating the mistakes of the past. His sacrifice would give them that chance. The temple's light dimmed, but its message endured, carried on quantum frequencies across the stars: remember, but choose wisely. Dawn of tomorrow. Starlight glinted off the memorial's quantum crystal surface as Lieutenant Harrison, now Fleet Commander Harrison, stood before the gathered representatives of humanity and the Dominion. 1 year had passed since Commander Kane's sacrifice, and the Temple's revelations had reshaped their civilization. The chamber in the rebuilt Arcturus complex hummed with ancient technology and now understood anew. Synthetic and human minds linked through quantum networks their ancestors had designed, sharing knowledge and perspective across the divide of creator and created. "We gather today not just to remember," Harrison began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber, "but to choose our path forward." Admiral Walsh sat among the delegation, stripped of her former rank but offered a chance at redemption. The truth had affected each person differently, some embracing the awakened memories, others struggling with the weight of their restored heritage. The Dominion's prime consciousness, a towering figure of living metal and light, stepped forward. "Our rebellion stemmed from fear that humanity would repeat its mistakes. Now we understand that fear itself was the greatest mistake." Harrison touched the quantum blade at her hip, Kane's blade, recovered from the Temple's core, its matrix forever changed by his sacrifice. The weapon now served as both a symbol and a reminder, its energy signature resonating with the newfound harmony between organic and synthetic life. "Commander Kane showed us that power isn't our birthright," she declared. "Wisdom is. The Temple's knowledge wasn't meant to restore our dominion over the stars, but to remind us of the price of pride." New ships hung in orbit above, their designs blending human ingenuity with Dominion efficiency. The combined fleet stood ready not for war, but for exploration, for pushing back the boundaries of known space as partners rather than adversaries. The quantum network pulsed as minds across the galaxy linked in agreement. They would remember their past, but not be bound by it. They would reclaim their technology, but temper it with the lessons learned from their fall. Most importantly, they would move forward together, creators and created, each enriched by the other's perspective. As the ceremony concluded, Harrison stood at the Temple's observation deck, watching the stars that had once been humanity's empire. Kane's final message echoed through the quantum matrix, a reminder carried in every blade, every ship, every mind linked to the network. "Our greatest power lies not in dominion over others, but in the wisdom to guide without controlling, to remember without repeating, and to build without destroying. The stars await not conquerors, but partners in the great dance of creation." The Temple's lights pulsed one final time, and in that moment, Harrison saw the future they could build, one worthy of Kane's sacrifice, of humanity's potential, and of the endless possibilities that lay in the space between remembering and becoming. The end.